Okay, let's dive right in. We're tackling a huge question today. What would it actually cost to build a truly world-class state education system right here in the UK? The numbers we're going to talk about are, well, they're massive, and we're here to figure out what they really mean.
So when you hear about a plan to basically rebuild the entire education system, and it comes with a price tag that big, it's only natural to have that gut reaction, right? To just ask, is that number even remotely realistic? Is it just wild?
And there's the number. We're talking about an extra 110 to 130 billion pounds. And get this, that's the proposed spending increase needed every single year to give every child in the state system an education on par with a private school. It's a truly eye-watering figure.
So you have to wonder, is this just unicorn economics? You know, a complete fantasy? A number so big it's not even worth talking about? Or, and this is the big question, is there actually a credible, evidence-based case to be made for an investment on this scale?
To figure that out, we need to do something really important. We've got to stop just comparing the UK to itself, to how things used to be. Instead, we need to start comparing it to the best performing, most successful education systems around the world. That's the real credibility check.
And this is where things start to get really interesting. Just look at this chart. That bar on the left, that's the UK's spending as a slice of its national wealth. You can see it's way less than the average for other developed countries, and it's not even close to top performers like Norway. That visual gap right there, it tells a huge story.
And that percentage gap, well, it's not just some abstract number. When you translate that into actual money for an economy the size of the UK's, it turns into a massive, massive annual funding shortfall. We are spending 45 to 60 billion pounds less every single year than what countries like Finland and Denmark consider normal.
And, this chronic underfunding has very real consequences that you can see and feel. It's not just a number on a spreadsheet. It's the crumbling school buildings that hit the headlines. It's class sizes getting bigger and bigger. It's the fantastic teachers leaving because they're burned out. It's the support for our most vulnerable kids being stretched to its absolute breaking point. This is what that funding gap actually looks like on the ground. So if that's the problem, what does the solution actually look like? Where would all this money go? What does this huge investment actually get us? And maybe, most importantly, does it line up with what other successful countries are already doing?
Okay, first up, and this is a big one, smaller class sizes. This would take the UK's classrooms, which are some of the most crowded in Europe, by the way, down to the level you see in places like Finland. We're talking about going from 26 or 27 kids down to around 20. That's a total game changer for giving students more individual attention.
It also goes right at the heart of the teacher workforce crisis. The idea is to basically adopt the Nordic approach, where educators are treated like the highly skilled professionals they are. So that means competitive pay, serious investment in their training and development, and creating a system that actually supports them so that teaching can be a long-term, sustainable career.
And this just makes so much sense. It's a fundamental shift from constant crisis mode to smart prevention. So instead of waiting for ceilings to literally fall in, the plan is to invest in proper, steady maintenance. That way, our school buildings can be safe, modern, and actually fit for learning.
And this is absolutely crucial. The funding isn't just about exam results. It's about investing in the whole child, which brings the UK in line with the best systems internationally. We're talking about a huge expansion of support for special educational needs, a real focus on early childhood development, and proper funding for mental health teams, not to mention arts, sports, and other enrichment activities.
So when you look at what this money actually buys, smaller classes, supported teachers, safe buildings, a completely different question starts to pop up. Is this £130 billion plan really the outlier here? Or is the UK's current situation the real anomaly?
To get another way of looking at it, let's take that huge national number and break it down into a cost per student. It's a metric that people are pretty familiar with from the private school world. And would you look at that? When you do the math, the per-pupil cost for this supposedly radical new state system lands almost exactly in the same ballpark as what private day schools are already charging. So this isn't about some kind of magic money. It's simply about funding the state system at the level the private sector already considers completely normal.
And this quote just flips the whole debate on its head. It makes the crucial point that the massive cost isn't the real shock. The real shock is the scale of the UK's current underinvestment when you hold it up against both international standards and what the private sector is doing.
So all of this leads us to a really powerful conclusion about what that £130 billion figure actually represents. It's really not about building some kind of fantasy system.
You see, we haven't been describing a unicorn this whole time. We've just been describing a normal, functioning, modern education system, the kind of system that already exists in the world's most successful, productive, and fair societies. For them, this is the baseline, not the dream.
And that leaves us with the final and maybe the most important question of all. After everything we've looked at, the real question isn't whether we can afford to do this. It's whether we can truly afford not to.